Hello again, this is a Chapter 6 video and we're looking at an internal consideration of the Zuul BAD project. This video assumes that you've got a good understanding of the external view of Zuul BAD and the external views and considerations of all of the classes in the Zuul BAD project. So let's have a look at the classes themselves. Again, we've got the 5 classes there which we're going to consider, and let's just remind ourselves now of the sequence diagram of what happens. Effectively, the game application runs, creates a number of rooms which have been pre-configured, and sets the exits for those rooms. The game class then creates a parser object, and the parser object then goes ahead and creates some the command words object, which has the list of command words. A little print welcome is provided by the game class itself, and then it goes into the main while loop of the game. Now, during the while loop, the game class looks to get a command from the user, which uses the parser to get that command. During that exchange, it's tested whether the command is correct or not, and then once the command has been deemed to be correct, the command gets processed and it goes to the room. It then starts again and gets a command from the user and continues going in that loop. That's all within the play method. As you see there, the red line depicting the play method, and that gives the basic structure of what happens in this code. So let's have a look at what happens. So first let's have a look at command words class. Pretty basic. The command word class, it has a single array of type string, and in this first instance we've got 3 words which it stores, which is go, quit and help. The only available method we've got is the isCommand method, and the parameter given there is the string. For example, this is where the word go would be tested to see if go is in the valid commands array. It will see if it's in that array and then report true or false whether that command is there or not. So that's the command word. Room class, we've got 5 fields, the description and the all is a type string, and then 4 other instance variables which are of type room, which depict the exits. It's created, it sets its own description there using the parameter specified by the user. The 2 methods which are available then are the set exits and the get description. So the get description is just a simple getter, and the set exits will then allow you to set up, using rooms as parameters, the exits for that particular room. So that's the room class. Let's have a look at the command class. The command class is a fairly straightforward class again. All it's really used is to save our particular command. So if you can remember, we have a command word and a second word. The command word and second words are stored as string type fields in the object. You've then got the constructor which sets those fields up, and then you've got 4 basic methods where you can getter for the command word and second word, and then 2 Boolean methods which return whether the command word is set to null or whether the second word is not equal to null. That returns true or false of those, and you'll see why that happens in a moment. So those are those 3 basic classes. The next class we're going to have a look at is the parser class. Now the parser class is a little bit more complicated, but it's got a very clear job what it needs to do. Now the clear job it needs to do is get information from the user. Now the way it's going to do it now is it's going to get information from the user and not only retrieve a string from the user, but then retrieve effectively a command word object from the user. Remember, when we use our command words, it just has those 2 fields, the command word and the second word. So that's what we're looking to get from the user. The parser sets itself up during the constructor in a fairly normal way with assignments created there. In terms of the scanner object which it uses as the reader, it uses the system.in. If you look up in the Java API, it's worth having a look at this point now at the system.in class in Java and the Java API. So system is the class, in is the field, and if you have a look at that field, you'll see that it is of type input stream. Now, in order to get a type input stream and convert that effectively into a string, which is what we're looking to do, you need to use the scanner object. So that is why we're using the scanner object at this point, because the scanner takes in an input stream parameter. The main method which is used in the parser class is this getCommand method. So set up some local variables with our input line, which is going to be the entire sentence which gets put to the user, word 1 and word 2, which is effectively going to be our command line or our command word, and then our second word. Set up a little print prompt on this line, and then we use the input line, we use the string input line, and we get the next line from the scanner object. So the next line method, if you look at that method in the API, you'll see that that returns the entire line as opposed to the next string, where there is another method which returns only the string, which is the next string, which is the .next method, which we're going to see in a moment. So at this point here, we have got the entire sentence from the user. So if you remember when I did my example, I did go west and then another couple of words. We'd have that entire sentence. We now need to do something with that. We need to tokenize that sentence. Now previously when we tokenized, we used a trim method and some other splitting methods in string. Now one of the clever bits about the scanner class is it's already got a tokenizer function available to it. The way it effectively works is not only can you provide a input stream as we have previously to the scanner class, we can also provide a string to the scanner class. And that's done on this highlighted line here. Once you provide a string to that scanner class, you can then tokenize it. So we've called this scanner object tokenizer. HasNext sees if there is another string word next, and then if there is, then this next method will return that individual string as opposed to the entire sentence. So this HasNext will return each string, and by default the scanner class will use white space to tokenize a specific string. So the first one does see if it has next, and then it returns that string, and then the second one it will look at the second word, see if the second word has a string. If that has a string, and then it returns that. It then ignores the rest. It only looks for the first and second words in the sentence which we've given it. Providing then we've got our two words, our word 1 and word 2. Now at this point here we need to test whether word 1 is an acceptable command. So this is where we call our isCommand method, and we can test to see whether that command is correct. So at this point we're looking, is it go, is it help, or is it quit? We will then, if it is fine, if that's okay, then we will return word 1 and word 2. Notice that we don't check word 2 at all. We don't need to look at that. We're only interested in the first command. If it is incorrect, then we will return the null keyword as our command word. Now if you notice in the command class, let me just open that command class for you. In the command class we have is unknown. So we now know if the command has got null as the first word, it is unknown because the command word is equal to null. So that's how that sort of maps into there. So that's our parser class. Okay, at this point what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to let you digest that, and then in a later video I'm going to go and look into the game class itself. So make sure you're comfortable with all of those classes and what they do in the internal workings, and then in the next video we're going to look at the game internal workings. See you then.